two business persons, and one of them, of course, is carrying an Osborne, and he's 22.5 pounds heavier, therefore he doesn't stand a chance. You know, you really. External monitor to make the ridiculously small monitor usable somehow. An interesting story here. Well, here is. Please don't interrupt, because I got to get through this. This is user interface circa 1983.
Yep.
What do you mean user interface? I have a user interface for WordStar right here. So, user interface, schmoozer interface. And of course, you know, your hard drive's coming. This is the ultra compact quantum 5 megabyte. This is like a revolution. It meant personal computers could get these. Because before that, those dishwasher size things like those Xerox Cipher drives. Over here we have an interesting story. A company that made these things, the things under these things, IBM, was the 370 plate, was worried about completely missing a new market called personal computing in 1980. So a guy named Bill Lowe, who was a maverick at IBM from a lab in Florida, was brought into the board of directors to propose a plan to create a computer in under a year that would allow IBM to get into the market, but not create the impression that IBM was out to trounce yet another industry, because IBM had been investigated for antitrust for about 10 or 12 years, and they didn't want to do that. So basically this guy, and who's actually going to send, I know him, known him for years, named Bill Lowe, he's going to send me these sheets of paper that were handed out to the board, the foils that were shown to the board to prove the plan for the IBM PC, and it showed this block diagram called open architecture, where there's no IBM parts, no IBM service, no IBM sales, no IBM nothing. And he put these up and his hands were shaking, and the chairman of IBM said, and he watched the room and all this the sacrilege. How can we make something? We always make stuff like this. The 5120, all IBM, 100% IBM, weighs 125 pounds. You know, solid as a rock. Service contract. This is what IBM makes for personal computing. This is the immediate predecessor to the 5150, the IBM PC, 5120. And this is what IBM made. It would take them 5 years to make this. They didn't have 5 years. And so the then chairman of IBM, Frank Carey, approved the plan. Basically, the board rose up to strangle Bill Lowe, and he said, "Gentlemen, we are going with this plan." And hence was born the open source, open component, open architecture IBM PC, a total accident of history, and no IBM parts or service or nothing. Totally different machine than this. IBM hasn't built a personal computer since. It's all done through open parts and outsourcing. And so this is that one meeting, that one set of foils presented in that oak-lined boardroom, walnut-lined boardroom with cigars in Armonk, New York, created the modern world, because this machine took over the world because it was open and everyone could clone it and duplicate it. So all Macintoshes today are these. Most servers today are these. They're just derivatives of this. It's the open standard. And of course, a little company called Microsoft was sitting in Washington State, and they made the deal to sell BASIC for this thing. IBM went down, you know, you heard the story, they went down to Monterey to try to get CP/M, the great leading operating system of the day. They wouldn't talk to them, so they came back to Redmond, and on the way back, Paul Allen contacted the guy who wrote the operating system for this thing, the Seattle Computer Products Gazelle, and said, "Oh, we'll pay you 50 grand for that." Like, oh my God, Patterson. Anyway, so they bought the rights for the quick and dirty operating system on this, so by the time IBM arrived, it was like, we have an operating system. We didn't just tell you about it before.
Can I say something real quick?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. So then IBM went on to stun more themselves than the rest of the world. And IBM PC became the AT, the XT, the PC Junior with almost unusable chiclet keyboard. And then the first PC clone, which is the Los Gatos, where you just passed, the Eagle. And then the Compact, which was the first hugely successful PC clone. And it goes on from there. And let's now jump back in the world of Apple. So Apple was doing all kinds of things. This is the prototype development system for the Lisa. I don't have a front faceplate for Lisa 1. You have one. I'll buy it from your bag or steal or do something. But